In this video, I'm going to be interviewing Rob Mason, one of my personal mentees, and we're going to show you how you can also add 18 serviced accommodation units to your portfolio over the next 1 or 2 years. Would you like to know how you can add 18 properties to your portfolio? Well, if the answer is yes, you're in the right place. My name's Liam Ryan, I'm one of the co-founders of Assets for Life. If you're new to this channel, hit subscribe and the notification bell right now and stay tuned for more videos because I release great content every single week. Oh, brilliant. Hey, Rob.
Hey.
Good to have you down with me. How you been?
Yeah, I've been really good. It's been really good, mate.
Fantastic. So, hey, look, you've got 18 properties in your portfolio now. And through the course of this chat, we're going to explore exactly how you've been able to do this and how our viewers can model the same system and get the same results. But before we do that, hey, what's your name, where you're from, and what is it you do in property?
Thank you. So yeah, so I'm Rob Mason. I'm from Cheltenham, although we've got properties nationwide now.
Wow, cool.
We operate a serviced accommodation management company, and we also source properties for serviced accommodation for essentially armchair investors.
So high cash flowing model.
Exactly.
That's the aim, right? High cash flowing model.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So look, take us back. When did you first decide to get into property?
So it would have been 2017 in like the September. I attended one of your events. It was
in London?
Yeah, in London. I forget the name of the event.
It was something, probably the Property Investment Summit or something like that, or the Property Mastery Summit.
Yeah, I think it was. So we met for the first time. We went over everything that was available to me as options to get out of the day job and get out of the rat race. And shortly afterwards, I joined the academy, and then things really started to kick off.
Yeah, so you started the academy in the January 2018?
That's right, yeah, so about 18 months ago.
Wow, 18 months in already, brilliant.
Yeah.
So why did you decide personally to get trained and to get a mentor? Why was that important for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question because prior to that, I spent a good year reading and watching YouTube videos and sort of getting inspired and sort of trying to get started.
All the free stuff, which is good.
All the free stuff, which really set me up, but I didn't know what to do next.
Okay, cool.
I didn't know what actions I needed to take to get the success I wanted.
Okay.
So ultimately, I needed to come to someone like yourself and get that, actually, Rob, go do this, now go do this, now go do this. And that sort of accountability and action setting is what's allowed me to get from a bit of a goal to actually really clear progress and success.
Great. So you found me, you found my business partner Jay, we started to mentor you January 2018. What were your first steps? What did we help you with in those initial couple of months?
So initially, you showed me everything. You showed me the big wide world of property. I got super excited about like a million different things, and I was like a kid in a sweet shop. I was like here, I was there. I was like doing a commercial conversion. I was doing HMO. I was doing our land development, and it was all.
Because it wasn't actually SA that you wanted to do first.
I didn't want SA. I didn't want rent to rent. That wasn't my thing. And so I was going in so many different directions. And about 3 months in, I called you and I said, Liam, I don't feel like this is working.
Yeah.
I need some help. And so you said, right, let's sit down, let's go through it, let's put all the strategies on the table, and then let's look at which is going to be your best, and let's just get laser focused. I've got 10 years hospitality experience, so serviced accommodation was obvious, but I just overlooked it. And once
I think the thing was you wanted to really own assets, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. You know, that was your long-term plan, was to build and convert and to own assets. And we know that rent to rent, you don't own the asset, you're just managing, controlling, renting, or you're offering a management service on different deals. But you was in full-time employment at the time, weren't you? You were working 50, 60 hours a week, high pressure job. Were you married then, or you were getting married?
No, I thought, I should know this. I wasn't married for sure, but I don't know if we were engaged.
I think it was on the cards anyway, and you wanted a little one as well.
Yeah.
And I think the thing was, you, after a few months of trying to do some bigger deals, it came back to the fact that you wanted to quit your job, you wanted cash flow, and then with your skills in hospitality, it was nailed. Serviced accommodation, rent to rent was going to be your thing. Yeah. So when did you launch your rent to rent business?
So the first one opened March 2018, 16th of March.
16th,
16th of March, yeah, that was the day we picked up the keys for the first one.
Fantastic. How did you find that first deal?
Down to rapport and trust. You've got to become their best friend. In terms of getting the viewing, I told them relatively little. I just said, look, this is what I'm looking to do. Can I come and see the property? As soon as I got to the viewing, that's when the real rapport building and trust building started.
So how did you build relationships with the agents?
So I started with just the getting on the phone, getting the viewings booked. For me, booking the viewings wasn't about rapport building massively, it was about just getting to that viewing. I told them as much as I needed to just get to the viewing. Once we were at the viewing, I could look them in the eye, I could shake their hand, I could make some jokes, we could have some fun, and we could really get to know each other.
Okay, good.
By the end of the viewing, we were best mates, and everybody wanted me to take their properties.
Great.
So yeah, it's all about that viewing.
Yeah, it's just getting on the viewings, pure volume.
Yeah.
You know, you win some, you lose some, you'll get some rejections. So making that initial phone call is important. And the first deal, did you use your own money? Did you team up with an investor? How did that work?
Yeah, so the first one, I didn't have any money of my own. I invested everything that I had into education. And so I partnered with an investor that was looking for better returns on his money.
Okay.
He had a pot of cash,
Nice.
didn't quite know what to do with it. I had an idea, but didn't have the money for it.
Yeah.
It was sort of a bit of a perfect fit. Obviously I didn't have any direct experience in this industry, so he had to take a bit of a punt. Okay. And we had to stack the deal so that his punt worked in his favour a bit. Okay. So it wasn't the best deal, it wasn't the most profitable deal for me, but it certainly allowed me to get out of the starting blocks and really set me up for the growth that we've experienced since.
And what was your biggest learning curve through that first deal? Or your biggest few learning curves? What did you really discover about the business model or serviced accommodation? Because like you said, the first deals can be the hardest, but it's the most important. You've said that the first deal really, you know, the investor probably took most of the profit, so your profit was very low. So why bother?
Well, essentially, I mean, getting that first deal done was what allowed me to do the next deal. The next deal was structured in a way that was much more even, because I had some experience and my value was higher. In the initial with the initial investor, my value was lower because I didn't have the experience, so we had to come to a compromise that worked for both of us.
Okay, brilliant. So that brings us on to deal number 2. How did you get deal number 2?
Deal number 2 was an investor I met in the pub.
So another no money down deal?
Yeah,
so the investor put in the money again?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were, my dad and I were sat in a pub in sort of Jan, Feb, when I was looking at all these different deals and different strategies. And I had a brochure in front of me. I was going, and we'll split this house into 2 flats. We'll make 100 grand. And somebody wandered over and went, "Are you guys property investors?" I was like, well, sort of. Yeah. We were trying to be. And so we got chatting. I've known him ever since. He comes round to my house for dinner, and he said something to me that was really interesting. He said, "Rob, when you brought that deal to me, it could have been a pig farm. It didn't really matter what it was. But I bought into you. Yeah. I bought into your enthusiasm and your passion for it. And if you care and if you really want to do what you're doing, people will buy into your enthusiasm." And
they know you, like you, trust you, build that relationship, coffees, drinks. If you've got, the thing is, there's so many people out there, they've got cash, they don't know what to do with it, and they need a solution. And if you've got an idea in property that's going to be win-win, secure for the investor, you're going to just raise money after money after money after money.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward then. You've done a few deals, say 2, 3, 4, 5 deals. What was the turning point for you from going there to 18? So was there a change in business model, or did all of a sudden you get more investors? Did you build relationships with more agents? Did you focus different parts of the UK? How do you go from 3 or 4 deals to 18 deals in just a matter of months?
So it was really about, I built my social media presence. I was doing lots of videos, lots of sort of educational pieces, sharing the knowledge and giving back to the community. And on top of that, once I finished my job and I outsourced a lot of the work to a virtual assistant, then all of a sudden I had loads of time.
Yeah.
The key turning point though was when I started going out and sourcing for other people. So not only is it a great earner, so we make good money on sourcing, but actually we've got people that want to do serviced accommodation with no property. We've got me who can go and get the property. Let's put them together and then all of a sudden the portfolio mushrooms.
Yeah.
At the moment, we've got more demand than I know how to handle.
What, more people wanting deals?
Yeah, I've got people queuing up my door saying, I want a deal, I want a deal, I want a deal. And I'm sort of still trying to manage the business and so, all right, I need to go, I'm all over the country, I'm like doing viewings, I'm calling agents, and we just can't keep up.
So am I right in saying for you it's about building the team then, so you brought a VA in, and then
Yep.
came the day, because you had a target when we first met and we spoke in September 17, you said by this date I want to sack the boss.
Yeah.
What date was that? Did you meet your deadline? How did that work?
That date is still in the future.
Okay,
That date's November this year. I quit my job in January.
Okay, good.
So we more than met that.
More than met that.
My wife just quit her job as well to join the business.
Goodness.
So we've double bubbled on that, and it's still not the date yet.
Wow.
So once you get started and you do it right and you take your time, and we did one deal, we didn't do another deal for about 6 months just to make sure that we understood it inside and out. And once you do that and you really know what you're doing, actually scaling becomes much, much easier. Yes, you come with a fresh set of problems, but you can solve those as long as you just keep passionate, keep working at it, keep taking action.
Yeah, great stuff. And what do you, because you now package deals for people, how much can you make packaging a deal, selling a deal on?
So if I was to get a deal from an agent, say 3 years for serviced accommodation, I'd sell that onto a partner or an investor for £3,000.
£3,000. So that's nice. You get some nice cash flow.
Yeah.
And are those investors then wanting you to manage their property?
Almost always.
Okay.
Most people that are in a position where they can afford to pay £3,000 for a deal actually are in a position where they don't desperately need all of the money.
Yeah.
They're happy to pay some of the money, so they have to do none of the work, which is a nice model. They give me a certain level of investment. They sit back in their armchair, they go and play with their kids, they go and do whatever they're doing, and I pay them a lump of cash each month.
You just pay the cash. So really you're now more of a serviced accommodation management business. Is that right? You're taking on more management, on a more management role than you are trying to find rent-to-rent deals yourself. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So we feel that that's a stronger model for us to go forward. It does allow us, because one of the key things with serviced accommodation is once you get over a certain level and you hit the VAT thresholds, your margins get really squeezed. So that would really hold me back. But actually for individual investors, they don't hit that level quite so quick. So we can grow like much bigger without hitting those thresholds or sort of hitting our profitability.
And what system are you using in the business to manage these 18 properties?
Wow, so we've got a number of systems.
Okay.
We've got a channel manager, which is the core of the business. That's Tokeet.
So Tokeet.
So Tokeet is the channel manager. It essentially ties all the booking platforms, Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, whoever else, all comes into one place. And if a booking comes in here, it tells everybody else that those nights are sold.
Okay.
It also allows us to manage the bookings, take payments, send out invoices, send out check-in instructions. That's the core of the business.
Okay, that's good. So systems are really important, so you can be hands-off. I'm sure there's people watching this, they're thinking, well, I don't want another job. I don't want to deal with cleaners. So how do you deal with the whole checking in, checking out, cleaners, turnaround? Because really, you're running hotels. Really, it's like hotel-like accommodation, but from a flat.
Yeah, we are. We're running a hotel, but we've spread the hotel across the country, and we've got nobody there. That's how it works. So we've got nobody at the property to meet anyone. We've got properties all over the country, and we've got guests checking in all the time. Every day we've got guests checking in here, guests checking out there.
Wow.
So it's like a hotel, but just like so much more complicated. But you can simplify it by having the right teams.
Okay.
So the key teams: cleaning team, maintenance team.
Okay,
If
good.
I've got one of those in each area, I'm golden, so long as they're the right people.
I really hope you're enjoying this interview with Rob Mason, and if you're watching this and you want the same results, you want to add 18 properties to your portfolio, but you don't know where to get started, then click the link in the description and join one of my up-and-coming events where I will show you how to start, scale and grow your business. And guess what? You can get a ticket right now completely free of charge. Go for it. Click the link. See you soon.